The evening sun was slowly going down as Kwase carried her clay pot and walked gently along the narrow path to the village stream. She prayed in her heart, "Let me just fetch water quickly and leave before anybody sees me." But the gods had another plan. The moment she stepped into the clearing, laughter exploded. A group of village maidens was already there, filling their pots. The moment their eyes landed on Kwase, their mouths opened with cruel words, "See who has come to spoil the beauty of the stream." One shouted, her voice sharp like a knife. Another girl pointed at her nose and said, "Oh, Kwase with her big nose. If you fetch water after her, you will carry ugliness home with you." Oh. The girls burst into wicked laughter, some even bending over, hitting their thighs, as if it was the funniest thing in the world. Kwase's body froze. Her cheeks burned hot. She bent quickly to fill her pot, wishing the ground would just open and swallow her. But the insults continued like arrows. "Who will marry you with this kind of nose?" One girl mocked, "Even the poorest farmer in this village will reject you." Another added, "Better stay in your mother's stall forever, your face is not fit to be a wife." Kwase's hands shook as she struggled to steady the pot. Tears filled her eyes, blinding her sight. She tried to carry her pot quietly, but one of the girls bumped into her on purpose. Crash! The pot slipped from her head and shattered into pieces on the ground. The laughter grew louder, filling the air like a festival drum. Kwase fell on her knees, tears pouring down her face. She covered her face with her hands and whispered, "Why do you hate me like this? What have I done to you?" But her words only gave them more reason to laugh. Slowly, she gathered the broken pieces of her pot, hugging them to her chest as if they were her broken heart. Then she ran with all the pain in her legs, all the shame in her tears, and all the insults still chasing her like a curse. When she reached home, her eyes were swollen, her wrapper damp with tears. She was still clutching the broken pieces of her pot. Her mother, Olajimok, saw her and quickly dropped the tray of goods she was arranging. She rushed to her. "My child. What happened?" Kwase broke down again. Her voice trembled. "Mama. They mocked me. They said no one will ever marry me." She stretched out the broken pot as if to show her broken spirit. Olajimok's eyes filled with tears, but she forced a smile and held her daughter close. She stroked her hair softly. "My jewel, listen to me. You are not cursed. You are not ugly. You are my joy. One day, this world will see what I see in you." Kwase sniffed and asked quietly, "Mama, when will that day come?" Her mother wiped her tears and said, "Soon, my child. Very soon. The stone that the builders reject always becomes the cornerstone. Lift your head high, Kwase." Kwase held on to her mother's words as if they were the only thing keeping her alive. Kwase tried to smile at her mother's words, but her heart was heavy. That night, she lay on her bamboo mat, staring at the thatched roof. Sleep refused to come. Every time she closed her eyes, she heard the laughter at the stream, loud and cruel, chasing her even in her dreams. The next morning, the struggle continued. When Kwase stepped out of the compound to go to the market with her mother, whispers followed her like shadows. "See Not the girl with the nose," one woman muttered, pretending to sell peppers. Who go marry that one?" Another asked loudly. Her eyes fixed on Kwase as if she wasn't human. Even little children joined, pointing and singing, "Kwase, Kwase, big nose like calabash." Her chest tightened. Sometimes she wished she could pluck her nose off and throw it away. At the market, things were not better. When her mother sent her to sell tomatoes, some buyers would laugh in her face. One man even said, "Abeg, shift your face, make I price the tomatoes. I know one lose appetite." The crowd around laughed until their sides hurt. Kwase bent her head, tears threatening to fall, but she forced herself to endure. She needed to help her mother sell, or else there would be no food at night. At village festivals, her pain grew worse. Other maidens dressed in colorful ankara, with beads on their necks, dancing proudly as young men whistled and admired them. But when Kwase joined the line, laughter always scattered the dance. See how her nose they shine like lantern. They jeered, Kwase, abeg dance go one corner before you scare the drummers. Her legs would freeze, shame swallowing her whole. She would run behind the huts, crying silently as drums and laughter mixed together in her ears. Even in church, she was not free. While others prayed, some girls would whisper, God, give Kwase a smaller nose and giggle until the whole pew shook, yet, Kwase kept trying. She woke early to fetch firewood. She helped her mother fry akara. She carried water for old women who pretended to bless her but later joined others to mock her. Her spirit was tired, but she never raised her voice against anyone. At night, she would whisper to her mother, Mama, why do they hate me? Am I really that ugly? And every time, her mother would hold her close and say, My daughter, pain is a seed. One day, it will grow into something greater. Endure. Your time is coming. But in her young heart, the suffering was already heavy. Kwase wished she could vanish from the village, hide from their eyes, and never return. The days turned into weeks, but the laughter never stopped. If anything, it grew louder. Kwase thought family would protect her. But even there, she found no rest. One afternoon, her mother sent her to help at her uncle's compound. As soon as she entered, her cousins burst out laughing, Big Nose Kwase has come. One shouted, rolling on the ground in mock laughter, Kwase, careful if you stand too close to the fire, your nose go burn before the yam even cooks. Another said, making everyone laugh louder. Her uncle's wife, instead of stopping them, joined in. She shook her head and said, Olajimok is really suffering. Who will take this child as wife? Maybe she will remain in her mother's house forever. Kwase's heart broke. She wanted to run, but she held herself together and helped to pound yam in silence. Hot tears dropping into the mortar, it wasn't only her cousins. Even the elders of the village, who were supposed to be wise, mocked her openly. One evening, at a village meeting where everyone gathered in the square, an elder who was half drunk pointed at her and shouted, See Kwase. If you want to know the size of the new yam harvest, just measure her nose. The whole crowd roared with laughter. Even her own relatives laughed, slapping their thighs as if the elder had said something clever. Kwase's legs trembled, and she wanted to melt into the ground. The most painful moment came during a family gathering. Her grandmother, who should have loved her, shook her head and said loudly, This child is a burden. Look at her nose. Who will even bring bride price for her? Kwase would disgrace our family if she stays here too long. Her aunties nodded in agreement, whispering things like, maybe her mother should take her to a medicine man. Or keep her hidden when visitors come. Kwase heard every word. Each sentence pierced her heart like a knife. She felt like a stranger in her own bloodline. When she returned home, she broke down in her mother's arms, shaking uncontrollably, Mama. Even our people don't want me. Even my grandmother. Her voice cracked, and she couldn't finish. Olajimok's eyes were red, but she hugged her daughter tightly. My child, don't let their words kill your spirit. Gold is not recognized while it is still in the dust. One day, Kwase, they will see your worth. But Kwase could not see that day. In her heart, all she felt was shame. Shame when she walked to the stream. Shame in the market. Shame in her family's eyes, and every night, before sleep finally came, she cried into her pillow, praying silently, God, why did you make me this way? As the seasons changed, the maidens of the village began to attract suitors. Young men came with kola nuts, palm wine, and words of praise, knocking proudly on doors. Songs of betrothal filled the air, and mothers danced as their daughters became brides-to-be, but in all of this, Kwase was left behind. Whenever a suitor came to the village, the young men would line up to admire the maidens. They praised Ada's glowing skin, Ngozi's round waist, and Dodo's bright smile. They even fought over Ajima, the drummer's daughter, saying she walked like a queen, but when Kwase passed by, the whispers began, who will go for her? She go spoil man picking bloodline with that nose. She better marry the wind, because no man will carry her. Sometimes the suitors laughed openly, turning their faces away as if Kwase's presence was an insult to their eyes. The cruelest moment came during a marriage ceremony. A wealthy farmer came to take one of the maidens as his wife. As the dancing started, one of the elders, half drunk again, pointed at Kwase and shouted in front of everyone, "Who will collect this one? Let us dash her free of charge. Kwase and her nose, take her as bonus." The whole crowd burst into laughter, even the bride's family. Kwase's body went stiff. She stood rooted to the ground, her eyes wide, her heart shattering. She ran from the square, her feet stumbling, her tears dropping like rain. At home, she refused to eat. For days, she locked herself inside, only stepping out at night to fetch water when no one could see her. Even suitors who came to her family compound for her cousins would not look her way. Some even mocked her openly before leaving. One man once told her mother to her face, "Madam Olajimuk, hide this your daughter when suitors come. If they see her, they will run from this family." Olajimuk nearly collapsed with shame, but she held Kwase tight, whispering, "Don't listen, my child. Don't listen." But Kwase listened. She listened to every insult, every rejection, every laugh. The words lived inside her chest, heavy like stones, everywhere she turned, in the market, in the square, in her own family compound. She was a shadow, a joke, a wound that refused to heal. At night, she cried until her pillow was wet. Her only prayer was simple, "God, let me sleep and never wake up again. Then they will stop mocking me." If there was any place Kwase thought she would find peace, it was among the children of the village. But even there, her pain found her. Whenever she walked past the playground where children played Su, 10-10, or rode old bicycle tires, they would stop and point at her. Their little voices rang out like arrows, "Kwase, Kwase, big nose like mortar." They sang, another added, "If she sneezes, the whole village go catch cold." The children clapped and danced around her, mocking her nose with hand gestures. Some stuffed mango leaves into their nostrils to imitate her. Others bent their faces and made funny sounds, shouting, "I am Kwase, the big nose queen." At first, Kwase tried to smile at them, thinking children didn't know better. But their cruelty only grew. When she bent to carry firewood, they threw pebbles at her, shouting, "Don't let her nose touch the ground." During moonlight plays, when folktales were told around the fire, the children acted out animals and spirits. One night, a boy shouted, "Let me be Kwase the spirit with the big nose." The whole circle of children burst into laughter, even the adults watching chuckled instead of correcting them. The pain pierced Kwase's heart. Even the little ones saw her as nothing more than a joke. Her worst day came when the children were playing AO and she passed by. One girl pointed and shouted, "Don't let Kwase come near O. If she breathes, all our seeds will scatter." The children screamed with laughter, rolling on the floor. Kwase froze, her pot heavy on her head. She wanted to shout, to tell them to stop. But her voice died in her throat. With trembling steps, she walked away, her heart pounding, her eyes stinging with hot tears. At home that night, she asked her mother in a broken voice, "Mama, even the children, even the small ones laugh at me. What did I do to deserve this life?" Her mother pulled her close, rocking her gently like a baby. Tears filled Olajimok's own eyes, but she whispered, "My child, the world mocks what it does not understand. One day, you will see. Your pain is not forever." But Kwase's heart could not believe. Every corner of the village echoed with laughter at her expense. From maidens to mothers, from elders to children, even her own blood, nobody spared her. She felt alone in a world that rejected her, carrying her pain like a shadow that never left her side. The moon was full that night. The villagers gathered in the square for storytelling and dance. Drums thundered, flutes sang, and maidens twirled gracefully under the moonlight. Laughter and clapping filled the air. Kwase stayed far at the back, half hidden behind a mango tree. She never joined the dances anymore, she could not bear the laughter. She watched silently, clutching her wrapper, her heart heavy. Then, something unusual happened. A group of strangers had come into the village that evening, traders from a faraway land who were passing through on their way to the city. They sat with the elders, watching the dances, eating roasted yam and palm oil. As the maidens danced, one of the strangers, a tall man with skin dark and smooth like polished wood, kept looking away from the dancers. His eyes wandered to the shadows, to the girl standing quietly under the mango tree. Kwase did not notice at first. She was too busy staring at the ground, praying no one would mock her. But when she finally raised her head, her eyes met his. For the first time in her life, she saw no laughter, no mockery, no insult in a man's gaze.